Alright, today I'm going to be installing a Johnny bucket on a John Deere X350. So I have all the parts here. I will be taking the bucket and the swing arm, all of the front portion here off and moving it over to this one. So this can be applicable if you're doing an adapter hitch. You bought a new tractor and you're moving things over. This can also be used for the second half of installing Johnny bucket just on your X350. So looking at the parts here, we have, this is your frame plates, your face plate, your base hitch. These here are going to be for the brush guard. This is sold separately, but this one did come with it, so I'm going to put that on there. You've got your hardware kit. This will mostly be for the frame plates, face plate. You've got the pin kit for the bucket, pin kit for the actuators, and then here we have the wiring harness. So this goes to the actuator itself, this to your battery, and then you have the toggle switch. Got two of those, one for lift, one for dump, and then we have some zip ties. What you wouldn't get usually would be another lift actuator, but I am going to use the second one here just so I can leave the one that's on there over there. For tools, you're going to need a 9/16, a 1/2 inch, and then you will also need a 10mm. Do not need an impact. It will make things easier, but you can use all hand tools. For this one here, we will need to drill a hole for this portion. It does not have it already on the frame. Some come with it, some don't. You're going to need a 3/8 drill bit for that, and then I'm going to use a smaller for a pilot there. And that is everything we're looking at here. So let's go ahead and install that on the X350. First thing we will need to do is remove these two 10mm on either side. Just remove those. Got one there, one here, one on this side, and one here. So those are removed. We can go ahead and put the frame plates on. So I'll just set these aside. Alright, to keep this video nice and short, I'm kind of setting things up already. So we have a 5/16 self-tapper here, 5/16 self-tapper there. This is one of the 3/8 by 1 inch, and then on the back side we have a nylock nut. So we're going to leave this loose and we go on to the other side and set that one up as well. Alright, so now I have the right hand side loosely mounted up, the two self-tappers in. Now this is the side where you will need to drill into the frame, right into this slot right here. I'm going to save this until I have everything else mounted up, have these ones tightened up, same on the other side, and then I'll go ahead and drill that. Alright, next we're going to go ahead and put the faceplate on. This is going to require 4 3/8 by 1 bolts and a nylock nut. Start them on the top, and then just to make sure here, so you have one on the top and then you have one on the second here. I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera just to speed things up. Alright, so now that I have the face hitch bolted onto the frame plates, I'm going to go ahead and tighten up those two self-tappers on this side as well as the other side. Go ahead and do that here. Got those in. This one could be tightened at this time as well. I'm going to use a 9/16 deep well for the inside, just because it can be a bit of a challenge to get to. So put that on there, and then I'll just use an impact with another 9/16. That one is tight, ready to go. Now we'll go ahead and tighten up the faceplate. I'm going to go ahead and do that here real quick. That there. Alright. You can use a wrench as well. It might not get stuck like that. Alright. Since that's all tightened up, now we'll go ahead and drill that hole over there. I'm going to do a pilot first. I really don't even know what size this is, but pick something a little bit smaller. I'm going to try to center into the slot. If you use a punch, it'll make it a little bit easier. Alright, so I just drilled a pilot hole for the 3/8 that I'm going to be using here. I'm going to go ahead and drill this out. so I just got done drilling the 3/8 hole. Now we're gonna go ahead and put a 3/8 by 1 inch bolt and the nylock, same as the other side. Got everything tightened up now on the frame plate and the faceplate. So now I'm gonna put on these latches. These will go right here on the outside. There might be a little bit extra powder coat on here, so you just have to screw them in slightly, but once you've got that, you can put one on here. Screw this one in. Once you get in a certain amount, they seem to just drop in, but we like to make sure you have enough powder coat on here. I'm going to go ahead and tighten these latches up. Got the other one already. Let's go ahead and do this one. Usually tighten up all the way, and then you can just back it off slightly. So I just got fully tight. Switch it here and loosen it up a little bit more, and now these can free float there. So that portion is all set. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and wire up to the front of the tractor. So you will have 2 of these packets. I'm going to go ahead and put my switches right here and here. One for the lift, one for the dump. This will go from the switch over to the front, and then this will go from your battery up to the switch right there. So now determining where they're going to go, it's probably best to sit on the tractor, see kind of how you're positioned. I'm going to put mine right here, so looking about right here. So I'll go ahead and use a paint marker. Best way I've found is to flip them upside down. That way you can kind of get pinpoint of where the switch is going to come out of. You'll want some space in between, so I'm going to go ahead with the first one right there, and then with that we'll lay out a little bit of space. This one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and drill that. I'm using a 31/64 bit. You can probably go a little smaller, a little larger. That's what I found works pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead, drill a pilot hole first, and then I will drill those out. So I went ahead and put those 2 switches in. I will say, be careful. There is some wiring behind it. Luckily it did not damage it, but just when you're drilling, know what's behind it, unlike what I did. So I got those in. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the wiring set here. I'm going to start off with the harness that goes from the actuators over to the switch. I'll start on the front side here. That way I can kind of have any extra bundled up there. So off camera, I went ahead and loosely ran these down over to the front. Now it'll be getting the power from the battery up to the switch. Alright, so I have all of the wiring zip tied running up to the switches. I will go around the other side and show you here. I also off camera hooked up the positive and the negative to the switches going up underneath, and then I can show you on a separate switch. You're going to have, you can really put these either way. So you can have red and black on these 2. This could be red and black or black and red. And then these 2 blue and white or white and blue. You can switch them. So you could have the blue and white on this side or this side. Really just don't want to cross them. Alright, so to remove the bucket from the tractor, what you're going to go ahead and do, first thing is you will disconnect the connectors, pull the pin out, and then what you can do is pull out the actuator pin. It can be a little bit difficult. Once you've got that, you lean that forward, throw that in the bucket so I don't lose it. Clip here, clip here. You can actually clip these into the up position, so I can actually drive off of here with that, so I can show you that. So flip this one open, lock that in there, and I will go ahead, hop on the tractor. Reverse right off. Alright. Now that has been removed from the tractor. If you're wanting to cut your grass, you can do whatever. Same thing goes for this one. Now what I'm going to do, I need to change the base hitch from this to one over there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that ready now. So I went ahead and removed the base hitch from the XT1. So this is the XT1 specific hitch. And now we're going to go ahead and build the John Deere. So first thing I will do, go ahead and get the actuator out of here. Is that up? So looking at it, trying to mirror it, I'll go ahead, see that one's a bit more extended. Go ahead, flip this around. This can go up through here, and then I'm going to go ahead, one of these, spacer, get the other spacer in, through like that. Then you'll have the cotter pin. I have to go and grab the side cutters so I can go ahead and bend that over. Alright, so I went ahead and I put the new base hitch on. That's for the X350, really X300, X500 series. Their frames are similar to where you can have that all the same parts. So I'm going to go ahead and drive this up to it, and then we can throw that on. So now I'm going to go ahead and just slide this up here into the plates. Once you got that underneath, you can flip this latch, tighten it all the way. Go ahead and do the same on the other side. Drop that latch down, put the clip over. Now we need to raise the actuator to the height here. So I'm going to go ahead and clip these in. Go ahead and choose this one. We might end up flipping it depending which switch ends up running, but then I will go ahead and raise it up here. This can be a little tricky getting it lined up right. It looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and put that pin in just like that. I'm actually going to do this the other way. If you do that, you can go ahead, clip this in, and then we can zip tie up to here. And then it's pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to go clip those in, zip tie it up, and check it out. All right, so we got the Johnny bucket all installed now. I did end up throwing a brush guard on off camera. Really all it is those little brackets that I showed originally. You just put in longer bolts for those to go on the outside. We supply all the hardware, pins, everything for that, so that's reinstalled. There's the bucket for it, so go over here. I'm going to switch this for the controls so I can show that on another video, just how to swap it. Really all it is say the blue and white, you just swap which two they're on. You can lift, and then you can go ahead and dump for that. And back. What the buzzing you're hearing is torque limiter inside of the actuator, so you never have to worry about breaking anything on it. And there you guys go. A Johnny bucket on a John Deere X350.